Hello, and welcome to Augmented Teachings on Talk 960 Radio, right here in the high desert. We are a local radio show talking about spirituality, religion, personal development, God in the afterlife, and how we can maneuver through this life experience with a better understanding of it all. We follow the teachings of Jesus, and I consider myself a Christian without limits, meaning I follow the light of Christ consciousness, not religion. Here at Augmented Teachings, we augment ideas and messages to fit this current time. Here on our show, we learn about ways to assist ourselves and humanity in cultivating change, bringing in more love, more creativity, more compassion, more joy, and a better perception of life. We get to talk about the things that inspire us to think better, feel better, and in turn, be better. I'm Brandi Pagano. Welcome.
And I'm Todd Michael Jackson. Thank you very much for coming to our show and listening to us here on Talk 960. So, Brandi, that was great. I love that. And we are going to talk about a few things today. One of the things I want to talk about today is something that we had talked to one of your friends, and they had a problem, they had an issue. So I'm doing this as a favor for them.
Okay.
They had a child that was very much afraid of the end of the world coming. Through religious biases, that child really believed the end of the world was coming and lived in gripping fear where that child didn't want to do anything.
Because that's what they were taught, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And I want to get an understanding for everybody out there. Again, I reiterate, I talk about the same things over and over, the same common threads from every show. Our purpose of life, right? Our purpose of life is to work the puzzle of unconditional love. And our souls keep returning until they do. That's the purpose of life for our soul. And the purpose of life for our vessel is to create experiences for God. Because God is a creator and we are the experiencer. So let's get to the topic of the end of the world. Now, I know in the Bible, a lot of people believe that the end of the world has been predetermined. It's been whispered by God to John the Revelator in Revelation, and all these catastrophes, all these catastrophes are supposed to happen, right? But I have something to tell people, and that is things have not been predetermined. God does not know the future. God knows all futures.
All potentials, right?
All potentials. So there is no one set future for any person or any nation or any species for that matter. We all have a hand in the outcome of what happens, right? That's what free will is all about. So one of the things that I like to tell people or explain to people is wherever you're biased at, right? Wherever a person is biased, say a person is doom and gloom all the time. That's their mentality. And they have a way of channeling or a way of connecting to spirit through meditation or whatever source they use to connect with the divine. What they bring back to this side of the veil will be tainted by whatever biases they have.
Right.
So that doom and gloom will taint whatever they bring back. And not only that, they may actually only see or seek out futures of doom and gloom. Because the whole mentality of the person doing the channeling or the person doing the meditation will bring back what it seeks out, what it actually is.
Right, because they're vibrating at that frequency. That's their state of being in that present moment.
Right.
And if they are vibrating at that frequency, they're going to be emitting that frequency. So that's what they're going to be seeing. That's what they're going to be experiencing. That's what they're going to be bringing back to their life, right?
Right, exactly. And John the Revelator, he saw things, and he may very, very much believe them, but they weren't the only outcome.
That was his interpretation, right? From his experience.
Exactly.
And they say really perception is the key, and how we perceive life, that's what we're going to believe about life. So if we perceive God as a certain way, then that's what we're going to always expect.
Right.
Until now.
So, yeah, and really when we break it down, we all have a hand in our future, and it has been predetermined. And that's why whenever I always tell people, if you're going to see somebody who's a channeler or somebody who is going to do a tarot reading for you or whatever it is, whatever you're into, make sure they're not biased on the subject. The subject matter that you're asking about.
Right, exactly.
Right. That's why I know before the election, a lot of tarot readers were like, some that were very much for Trump would pull cards. Oh, Trump's winning. And then people that were for Biden were like, oh no, Biden's winning, because they already had a dog in the race.
Right, and they could see what they wanted to see. You know,
right, and they'll interpret it to their biases. So there is no real end to the world coming as far as John the Revelator is concerned.
Okay.
All right. Second of all, we are here to create experiences and to learn. God spent a lot of time and a lot of energy creating this little oasis in the middle of space for us to do that. Right?
Yeah.
What is the purpose? What would be the purpose of ending it? No more experiences are made. No more souls are learning. The whole purpose of this planet would be gone, destroyed. For the benefit of what?
That's like destroying all the schools, right? In the world.
Right.
Why would we do that? Then there'd be no more learning, no more growth, no more development.
Exactly. This is a classroom. Earth is a classroom. Among many classrooms, by the way.
Right.
Right. But Earth is a classroom, and there's no benefit to destroying it. God's in no hurry to destroy the planet. I don't know what the purpose would be. I mean, I think a lot of Christians think there's a benefit to it. If the end of the world happens, we all die, right? Then the Christians will go to heaven, and other people will not be there with them. There's like a reward system. If you're a Christian and the end of the world happens, then you're rewarded and these people are not.
Right.
But that's not the way it works at all. We all get to go to heaven. That's regardless.
That's the given.
Right, because God's not gonna be like, hey, I don't want you to come to heaven because I don't want your experiences. I don't want to see what you've learned in this lifetime. No, God's not going to do that. That's not spiteful. You know, God is not a child. God wants all of us to develop and learn and love and laugh, and wants all those beautiful experiences that you created, and wants to see how much you've learned and what you're planning to do for your next reincarnation.
Right.
What you're willing to do to come back and create something even better.
God's will is for you to have a happy and fulfilled life.
Right.
Because you get to bring those experiences back to the allness of life, which we call heaven. And yeah, that's exactly in alignment with my beliefs and my innate feeling. You know, growing up, I wasn't really into religion a lot, but I remember asking my dad, you know, certain questions. He would read the Bible, but he really didn't explain a whole lot to me. And I would ask questions, and he would say, no, you're not supposed to ask. You're supposed to just believe it. And I said, but I don't understand it. I'm really confused. You know, this is the Bible saying this, but I need more information.
Right.
And he would just say, no, you know, you're just supposed to have faith and, you know, just believe it.
Right. And that's one of the things with this show, what I want to do. I want to do two things.
Okay.
The first is, let's go one step above faith. Let's know.
Right.
Let's
Exactly.
know God exists. Let's know that this desk in front of us is real. Let's know that you are in front of me, Brandi, and let's know that soul within you is a manifestation of God.
Absolutely.
All right. And when you know, then you don't have to worry about faith anymore. You're like, it's already a given. The simple fact that matter exists means God made that happen. God made that happen.
And that's why in my personal practice, you know, the way that I pray, I say that God is all there is. God is every part and particle, every wave, every frequency, everything is made up of God.
Right.
And I am an individualized expression of that one source. And so if I can, you know, through my mindfulness and my meditation practices, if I can tap into that frequency of God, then I can actually co-create with the divine experiences that are best for me to enjoy, for me to love, for me to, just basically enjoy life. That's what we're here to do.
Right. Exactly. And that's one of the things that we have to learn is how to do that. How do we enjoy life? And one of the things is realizing that the future for John the Revelator was for John the Revelator.
It wasn't for all of humanity.
No,
it wasn't the end all be all. That was his interpretation, his experience, and he shared that.
Right.
Just like we're sharing our interpretation, our experience. But with you, Todd, you have followed the experiences of people who have had a near-death experience for over 10 years.
Right.
And you've compiled a lot of those stories and really come to those commonalities,
Right.
and that's how you teach and share your wisdom and
Right.
your understanding based off of that, right?
Right. And your dad had said two things, right? He'd said, just have faith
Yeah.
and don't ask questions.
Right.
Right. Here, I'll say something, but I'll explain it.
Mm-hmm.
The Bible has a hard time doing that. It'll say something, but doesn't explain.
No, and that's really what it is. It's like, it's just kind of like a blanket statement, and I'm just supposed to walk by faith, which, okay, I understand that, but that's still relying on hope that that's true,
right. And when there's
not true.
when there's no explanation, that's really when it leaves it open to interpretation, and that's why there's so many deviations in philosophies. The Christian religion itself is so divided within itself, because everything's open to interpretation, because there's no explanation. On this show, I try to explain everything.
Yeah.
So there's no could be this, could be that. Because when I asked God for the truth, I said, I want to make sure it's not could be this, could be that. I want to know black and white, the gears of heaven, earth, and God.
Yeah.
How things work. That was 10 years ago, and here I am today. So,
well, I'm so glad you're here.
Me too. I'm glad our listeners are here. You know what? You may not agree, but you may have some insight you didn't have before.
And does it get you thinking? So for our listeners, whether you're listening to us on Talk 960 right now or on Spotify or YouTube, what are you thinking? How are any of these thoughts opening your mind and expanding your consciousness? Are they intriguing to you? Maybe dive in a little deeper, listen to more of our content, and see how we can guide you. Right.
Because that's what it's all about. It's us learning together as a consciousness of humanity itself.
Absolutely, because I know that I'm an individualized expression of God, as we all are. I'll bring back our souls back to heaven, back to God, back to the frequency of love when we're done with this experience in this vessel. And so we're all learning, growing, and developing together as individuals, but as part of the collective consciousness.
Right, right. That's what the beauty of this place is, that this is one of the hardest classrooms, because in other classrooms, okay, I'm getting a little out there, but in other classrooms, there's usually some form of understanding of God, or in a feeling sense. Right. All right. Here we are totally void of God on our own. We have to seek God out. This is one of the hardest classrooms to learn in, right? But if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. Just like New York, you can make it here, you can make it anywhere, right? This is what Earth is like. Many souls skip it. Many souls do not come here because it's so difficult. Yeah. There's other classrooms that are a little easier. So God's not going to destroy it, because God wants this express lane to learning open for all for as long as possible.
Well, I'm really glad that you said that, because I am so grateful that my soul signed up to be here, that my soul said yes and said, I'm going to go to planet Earth. I'm going to go to that classroom. I'm going to learn, grow, and develop for myself and assist humanity to the best of my ability. And that's what keeps me going. That's what kind of drives me, is that I know the answers where we're going. I know the why. And it motivates me so much more. It's like, going to the gym. If you know that this exercise is going to help this muscle or help this part of your cardiovascular system, whatever that is, once you have that understanding, then it makes it easier to go through that process, and it makes it easier to motivate yourself and push yourself when things get challenging, because life can be challenging at times. It doesn't mean that everything's sunshine and rainbows. It means we continue to move forward to the best of our ability and just keep going.
Well, thank you for showing up on this planet, because here you are with me now, and we are talking right here now on Talk 960. And I think we'll be back after these messages.
Absolutely. We're going to take a short break. Thank you.
Thank you.
Today's show is sponsored by the High Desert Center for Spiritual Living in Apple Valley. And now a message from our sponsor. Join us on Earth Day, Saturday, April 22nd from 8:30 to 4 for our 18th semi-annual Healthy Spirit Fair. Come learn what the High Desert has to offer in contemporary, conventional, and integrative practices. Free parking, free admission, free speakers and demos from a variety of backgrounds throughout the day. Our opening ceremony will consist of a crystal sound bath with Tamara from Reiki Radiance. Midday, we have a Tai Chi demo with Chris Ermston, and our closing ceremony with shaman Janet Amby will be a group gathering with drumming. This is a family-friendly event with an Earth Day Kids Craft Corner and story time with a positive message. Shop local vendors showcasing products and services geared towards promoting a healthy body, mind, and spirit connection and development. And there's also opportunity drawings throughout the day to win special prizes. Check out the Healthy Spirit Fair, April 22nd at HDCSL on Corwin Road in Apple Valley. For more info or to sign up as a vendor, please call 760-242-2302. You can find our event on Facebook and Eventbrite. You may just find what you're looking for. Welcome back to Augmented Teachings on Talk 960. Thank you for joining us today. And please tell your friends about us. You can find us every Saturday at 9 a.m. and Sunday at 7:30 a.m. right here on Talk 960 Radio. You can also download the Talk 960 app to listen live right from your phone, which is what I personally like to do. Please find us on social media and YouTube, and remember to like and subscribe to our channel for more content. You can also listen to us on Amazon Music and Spotify. Thanks for joining us.
And welcome to Augmented Teachings. So, we had a really good first half. I enjoyed that very much.
I know, so much stuff to unpack. Thank you, Todd.
Thank you, Brandi. So, the next subject, we were talking about how we did this first subject because a friend of yours had a child that was in worry and fear. That child also had worry of fear of hell, right? So, we're going to take care of both those subjects right now.
Okay.
So, we already covered the first one of end of the world, right? Now we're going to talk about, does hell exist?
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, because that's heavy for a lot of people.
That's heavy. It's heavy, and the whole idea of it, and then as time goes on, the idea of hell keeps getting worse and worse and worse, and now it's to the point where like, oh my gosh, this is barbaric. What's going on here, right?
It kind of drives what people do with their life and don't do because they're basing it on not wanting to go to hell or not wanting to be in that.
Yeah, it's two ways. It's like you have the carrot system, and you have the stick system.
Tell me about those.
So there's two ways to motivate people.
Okay.
One's with a carrot.
Okay, like to guide them.
To guide them because they want to eat the carrot. You put the carrot in front of them.
Okay, a little treat.
A little treat. And I think that's where end of the world was, because Christians are going to heaven and then other people are not.
Okay,
right?
so like
that's a carrot system.
The carrot represents like heaven, and so hey, this is where you want to go, so follow this way.
Yeah, and then
what's the stick?
And religion also uses the stick system.
Okay,
right at the same time, and that's hell. That's where you don't want to go. You want the stick. Like a horse, Put the carrot in front of it, put the stick on the back. Which one do you want? Which one's going to motivate you? Because some people aren't motivated by a carrot.
Like if you do this, you're going to have this stick, this consequence.
Right. So that's where hell comes from. It's a motivation to get people to align with whatever they're teaching, right? If you don't do this, then B will happen to you. You don't follow A, then B will happen, and that's hell. And I will gladly tell you, as an N.D.E researcher, hell absolutely, positively does not exist. Absolutely does not. Now, not all areas of heaven are the same vibration.
Exactly.
And that's where the difference is. So there is a little bit of stick, right? But not like you're going somewhere else, away from God, away from love and compassion and joy. No. Every part of heaven is amazing and 1,000 times better than earth, right? But not all areas of vibrations of heaven are created equally. And there are infinite levels of vibration in heaven, infinite, depending on how developed your own love and compassion within your soul determines where you go in heaven, right? So a lot of times people of lower vibration, people who fall off their bike here on earth, we'll just say, fall off their bike, and they commit crimes and live a fear, judgmental, ego, anger type of life, will hang out with people of the same vibration.
Yeah. Birds of a feather
flock
together. Something like that.
Exactly. So, and I think that one of the things that we have to realize is that once we leave these vessels, we're automatically in heaven. Automatically, we start feeling different. Soon as we leave, our soul leaves our bodies, you're already feeling different. You're starting to hear God's music. You're starting to feel the love of God wrap around you and embrace you.
Yeah.
Almost immediately. And once we leave, we're already there, right? And the first place we go to is our past life review, all right? And that's where we see how well we did, right? Through everything's being recorded through our senses, but also vibrationally through God, through feeling. So that gets overlaid upon our recording. So when we rewatch our live, that other element of emotion is attached to it. So you can feel how you're interacting with others. If you're bringing joy or if you're bringing fear and anger.
That's so beautiful.
And that can't happen if you go to hell. You can never learn if you go to hell. You can never bring your experiences back home if you go to hell. God wants all those experiences and wants you to learn as many times as you need.
Absolutely. And I thank you so much for that. And I like to think of heaven and hell really as a state of consciousness.
Yes.
And, I've said in previous segments where I do believe that this is a cause and effect experience. This is a cause and effect universe.
Yeah.
And so everything we do here in this physical plane through these vessels, we are going to experience on the etherical plane, in heaven.
Right.
And we're going to have those consequences. So you've talked about people who, maybe they commit, we'll say, crimes and, murder or even just how they act in general. If they're
It's
just
a really bad attitude, an ugly attitude alone.
If they're inconsiderate in general, they're going to go back to heaven outside of these bodies when they pass. They're going to look at their past life review and they're going to get to feel, because you were just talking about those emotions are imprinted into that recording. And so when we experience that, when we're back home in heaven, and we get to feel how those other people felt because of our actions and how what we brought to the table basically of life, we're going to get to experience. And that could be a state of hell, because if we're experiencing what we're putting out, and that's basically what karma is, is that coming back to you in a sense. And it's not really the traditional sense of karma, but my understanding of that is that we are going to experience and we're going to feel all that we put out. And that can be a state of hell within heaven, because it's that state of experience, that state of consciousness.
Right. And that's why I've always, knowing this, I've always had that mentality. I mean, it used to be a lot of, when I was growing up, a lot of Christians were under had ideals of, if you have nothing nice to say, don't say it at all.
Yeah.
Right? I hold that true to myself. Sometimes I get frustrated with a situation or another human that's being rude or inconsiderate. But I do my best to not confront, but I try to help them adjust positively, or by leading, by showing how I do it, so they can get understanding. And usually that's enough, but I don't like to confront people and create bad vibrations for myself and for them to relive back home.
Exactly.
I try, whenever I go anywhere, I always try to bring, okay, how can I make this person smile? What can I do to make them feel special? And knowing that, always, constantly doing that, I'm going to have a past life review where I'm constantly raising the vibrations of people. It's going to be a lot more fun for me than it was in the first half of my life before I didn't know that.
Exactly. And we can think of, life as a game. Again, we talked about that before, but it's like, what are the rules? How do we want to play that game? And one of the things that I like to do is maybe go to the grocery store or the bank, and pick a long line. And sometimes there's a lot of opportunities to be uncomfortable, to be frustrated, when we're out in the public in general and just dealing with, other humans. But reminding myself that this is a classroom, that I am learning, growing, and developing for myself and assisting everybody else. And how I assist other people is how I respond or react. And so you were talking about, sure, you can get upset, you can get angry, you can react out of those emotions, or you can respond from a higher state of consciousness, knowing that, hey, I can respond in kindness, I can lead, I can guide these people, I can just be an example for them, or I can gently teach them maybe a different way to do something.
Right. And one of the things I talked about earlier was God is a creator. Yeah. We are the experiencer. Hell would be something you would experience. Right? Everything can be heaven and hell. I tell the story. You see a couple sitting on the beach and they're drinking the pina coladas, right? And they have their binoculars and they're looking at the lava coming out of the volcano, and they're on their 5-year anniversary and they're just in love and enjoying their time.
They're in bliss.
They're in bliss, and they're just enjoying planning their dinner tonight and just having fun,
having
right?
A great time, right? Enjoying life.
Right? And then they have the binoculars and they're looking and they see some fool running in his underwear and jumping into the lava.
Oh my gosh, and he's in hell.
Same place. How do you want to experience it?
Right.
Do you want to experience it with love and compassion and joy? or do you want to experience it with pain and suffering?
Different states of consciousness.
Same place, different experiences.
Exactly.
Right.
Wow.
So everything is that way.
And
You can go to, like you said, the grocery store.
Mhm.
It can be hell. It can be heaven.
Yeah.
If you know how to use mindfulness, which is what
Absolutely.
you teach, right?
Right. And mindfulness is being in the present moment and not judging it.
Right.
Not judging it, this person or that person or this experience as bad, just noticing, paying attention, becoming aware of what's actually happening. But we have to be in our higher mind for that. We can't be in our lower egoic mind.
Right.
And that's what mindfulness and meditation, prayer, different types of spiritual practices help you to be in that state of awareness more easily.
Right. And that's why it's so important to try to live your best life, as far as like not putting yourself in such a destitute situation. Sometimes we find ourselves there.
Yeah.
We're hungry, we're tired, and it's hard to find
That's
that
when
higher
it's a challenge.
That's when it's a challenge, right? I get hangry, so, and that sometimes I'm like, okay, I'll try to get something to eat as fast as I can. I'll get a candy bar on the register because I don't want to hold this anger. It's not me, right?
What's that saying? You're not you and you're hungry?
Yeah, exactly. So I try to do my best to put myself in situations to where I'm not stressed out, you know, and having self-care so that I can care for the people around me better. Even if I know them or don't know them or do know them, it doesn't matter. Right. Just the people I interact with.
And that's part of being prepared because, in a state of emergency, whether it's, globally or just internally in your own mind, if there's some kind of, challenge or emergency that's happening, you got to be prepared. And so that's why as we do our spiritual practices, we open, we grow, we develop, we're more prepared for those situations,
Yes. Yeah. It comes with experience,
Absolutely.
When I was first trying to raise the vibration around me, I did okay, but now I do a lot better. So yes, practice. Hell doesn't exist. Hell is a frame of mind, a state of mind. And say God, for some reason, right? God's love and compassion built a place where people just got tortured. You don't have a body anymore. You can literally just fly away. There's nothing to hold you. We can travel at the speed of thought. Once we leave these bodies, we can travel the speed of thought and go anywhere we want in the universe. So if there was a place created somewhere, you don't have to go there. You don't have to be part and partake in that. You can just fly away and be anywhere you want and see anybody you want. Any soul that you want to reconnect with, you can, and anywhere you need to learn, you can learn.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Todd. And thank you all for listening to Augmented Teachings on Talk 960 Radio. If you have any questions, comments, or feedback, let's connect. Our email is augmentedteachings@gmail.com, all lowercase, all one word. And thank you for your support. And remember to follow us on social media. We have a Facebook and Instagram. Also, you can find Augmented Teachings on YouTube. We have videos, podcast shorts, and even some live recordings where you can find more content from us. And please remember to like and subscribe so you don't miss a thing. We're so happy you joined us today. Please come back.
So always have love and laughter in your heart and keep moving forward. Thank you.
Have a great week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.